Hi guys, welcome to Manhood Explained. My name is Camille and today is 2nd of April 2020. Welcome to live number 97. Today we're going to talk about idols and why they are they're going to make you succeed or they're going to bring, imminent demise for you. And as I always say, it's going to take me more or less 10 minutes to make that happen. But well, this is all I want to say. Basically, you can stay or you can go, and you will know where you are because this is if you already understand what I'm saying, if you know what I'm gonna go with this, you're probably on a path of kind of understanding how this whole game is played and how life goes forward or not. But if you think, I don't understand what you're saying, you're gonna quit in the middle, that will say that you're probably immature and the moment you're gonna get back to that and it's gonna happen to you in your life, then you'd know where to come back. At least know that this is something that I was talking about already, and this might be something you want to come back later. But anyway, I think like an hour or 2 hours ago, I watched interview that Dan Pena gave to internet guys, and it was like a more than an hour and 15 minutes interview. And if you don't know who Dan Pena is, I'm going to put the link to this whole thing under the video so you could watch it. But Dan Pena is basically a businessman, a business coach, who is like there's no other person who help other people generate so much cash that he did. No one else on the planet, ever. This gentleman, he calls himself $1 trillion man because he basically, I think he reached, or I think he surpassed right now $1 trillion that he helped his mentees to bring. Not even mentioning his own vault of cash and goods that he generated for himself, but for the last 40 or more than years, he basically did this whole thing for himself. And then what he is interesting, he says that he got bored with making money, so he started to teach others how to do it. And why I'm even talking about it, because you see those two young guys who are doing interview with him, even though that they're entrepreneurs and as far as I know they have some level of success and fame and so on, they're having the most well known and most well kind of experienced guy in generating generation values, he says about himself. And some of the questions that they asked him were interesting or legitimate, but they made so much fun. They had so much, laugh in all of this. So they got to the point that they asked him if he watches porn. And I thought to myself, I was like, really? It's like me being trying to be a sportsman, asking Michael Jordan to get on my call and spend an hour with me, and then asking him if he masturbates. And I thought to myself, this is like a very sad commentary on where we are as a society, as a generation, and unfortunately as men. Because you've got to understand there are two major things that will have like a dramatic and a direct impact on your life. First of all, of who are you listening to? Who is your idol? And if you're one of the people who idolizes, movie stars or musicians, and you see what kind of movies they act in, and what kind of music they write, what are the words that they say in their songs, then you will know who are you aspiring to be. If you're listening to the person who is singing about shaking their ass all the time, what kind of value you think this music gonna bring to your life? If you're watching and aspiring to be a comedian who is playing in stupid comedies or action action actor who plays in action movies which are full of violence and complete absurd amount of death, and it's just stupid entertainment. What do you expect for this thing or this person to bring into your life? And Dan Pena, because I've listened to this guy for quite some time, he says a very interesting thing. He said, "Show me the 5 people that you hang with, and I'll tell you your future." And in this era of internet, and that we spend so much more time on the net, listening to people and spending time with people who are we just listening to, if you kind of think about who are you listening to on internet, who are your the what channels are you subscribed in that you watched the most, then you would know what kind of impact this person or this channel is going to have in your life. So if you're watching, channels about computer games, stupid music, or something like this, think what kind of impact it's going to bring to your life, your success, your relationship, your family, your goals, and to ultimately to who you will become. And don't get me wrong, I understand if you're a young person, there's a time to be young. There's time to be child, there's time to be teenager, there's time to be a young person. And I'm not saying don't have fun. I'm just saying in the long run, if you don't control who are you listening to, it's gonna make you successful. It's gonna make you completely ruined, especially in the things that matters, like in relationships. And second thing I want you to kind of understand, which is like a lesson forward into the future, which I assume this kind of guys didn't learn, at least from my perspective, is that they don't recognize the authority and the value of experience that this kind of person brings. Because they exactly did what I said about Michael Jordan. It's like there's a guy in their office talking to them for 1.5 hours. Guy who is basically teaching others how to make millions and billions on the market, and they're themselves being entrepreneurs. And they're asking him stupid questions. And kind of the cherry on the top of all of this is the last sentence, how they close this whole thing. Is one of them just telling Dan Pena, this gentleman, that his approach is out of date, and what he's doing is basically is dying off. I mean, let's say straight, looking at where this whole thing, this whole generation and the world where it's going, it's kind of true. But I don't. Maybe it's my personal how I feel about what he said and how he said it. It is like he had courage to say something like this, and Dan Pena didn't even comment that. And I thought it was just his mercy not to destroy this guy, because this interview was recorded in February, and now we're in April. We see the first wave of coronavirus just starting to pile up in the United States. And whether it's gonna be like new Spanish flu that 100 years later gonna wipe out like 50, 100 million people, or whether it's gonna be something that is gonna pass away, it doesn't matter, because under all of this, it's happening exactly what Dan Pena is saying. That under this whole thing that we call this pandemic, there's economic wipeout which is happening right here, right now. And Dan Pena, even in this interview, he says that the biggest transfer of value of wealth ever is happening right here, right now. And now the economics didn't even started to fall, as far as I hear from other sources, and him being one of them. So now so many people now see that they had, like a month ago or 1.5, they had a business person who could help them to drag their business to completely different level just by asking him few questions. But what they did is basically they have a laugh because asking about stupid things, and they kind of missed the whole point. There's old, I don't know if I can say saying, but there's a quote from Old Testament which says that if you recognize a prophet being a prophet, you're gonna get a reward of a prophet. At least this is the translation from Polish, as I remember. But the whole idea is that if you've got someone who you see as an authority in something, and if you see their experience, the value that they have, that they can bring, if you're on this positive side already listening to this kind of person, then if you listen to what they have to say and act upon it, you'll get exactly what they are good in. And you'll be able to kind of earn success from their wisdom, because you're just basically going to learn from them. But if you completely disrespect them, as in my opinion these guys did, at least they didn't use the chance that they had to talk to this kind of guy and ask him really important questions about especially their business that they have, then they miss. Then you miss the point and you're not able to learn from the authority that is there. And trust me, especially in his case, it's not an easy to get this guy to spend an hour with. And now if you look at both of these points of who are you listening to, and if you're able to kind of recognize the wisdom and authority and experience that these people have, if you put them together and you look at your life, where are you going, who you are, what are your plans, and then how it's what you're listening to and people that you surround yourself with have impact in your life, then you would see that in the long run, it's a crucial thing to think about it. It's a crucial thing to understand that if the people that I'm listening to have completely no impact or have negative impact on what I want to achieve, you're done. Because if you're having issues in your relationship and you rather listen to, I don't want to use names because I don't want to bash anyone or say something negative about someone, but if you rather watch Netflix than listen to someone who will be able to help you deal with your relationship, or the same thing with business, then you're done. And you're done because you're stupid. See what I'm saying? So listen, this is what I want you to take from this video. Take paper and write down five people that you listen to in the last, I don't know, week. Which are those who are you listening to all the time? And ask yourself a question. Where it's going to lead me? To success or to my demise? Because if you're not going to be smart enough to learn this lesson soon enough, you're going to pay the price. So just think about it and do something about it, because it's going to matter. If you like this video or you don't like this video, comment under it. And if you have anything that I could help you with or record a video about, I'll be glad to help you with. So, that being said, see you tomorrow.